I'm a scouser. We don't get knocked out. Paddy Pimlet's one of my anchors, minus half a takedown versus Kazula Vargas over on Underdog. Let's hear the rest of the picks. So up first, we're going with my girl Meatball Molly McCann, over 82.5 significant strikes. And I really like this number for Molly McCann to go over because if you really look at her statistics, like she averages just under 6 significant strikes per 15 minutes. You average that out over a 15-minute decision. She's scoring about 85 significant strikes or so. But when you really peel back the layers, a lot of that average is brought down by a couple bad stylistic matchups. She was taken down 7 times against Laura Procopio, wasn't able to get off with that high volume boxing as she typically does. She was taken down 5 times against Talia Santos. Same thing. She was unable to get that high volume boxing going. In matchups against similar style opponents that like to stand and trade and are more so strikers rather than grapplers, she's landing well over 100 significant strikes in most of those matchups. And I think that's what happens here against Luana Carolina, another high volume striker. We know she's going to be willing to stand and trade. She's not going to look to take the fight to the mat. If anything, I think Molly McCann would be the one looking to do that. But this is just a spot where I think she's going to have the crowd behind her, fighting in London. All of her buddies are on the card, and we know she feeds off that crowd energy. She's going to be landing a lot of strikes here. So outside of like a stoppage, which I don't think is very likely, this fight is favored to end by decision, so I don't think she's going to get a finish here. Outside of a finish, I think she lands well over this number, probably goes over 100, so I like the over for Meatball Molly to get things started for us. Up next, as you may have caught on, we're going with my guy Paddy Pimlet here, minus half a takedown versus Kazula Vargas. This one actually opened up as a straight pick'em in terms of the takedowns versus him versus Kazula Vargas, and I couldn't disagree more with that. I'm expecting Paddy Pimlet, who's known more for his grappling, to look to get the fight to the mat and make quick work of Kazula Vargas. Kazula Vargas is not much of a wrestler. Yes, he's landed a takedown or two, but most of the time that came against lower level competition, and I doubt he wants to go to the mat against a dangerous submission grappler like Paddy Pimlet here. So I got the limit for Paddy Pimlet over more takedowns than Kazula Vargas here, but even where it's at on the rival side at minus half a takedown, he just needs to land one more takedown than Kazula Vargas, and I think he does that here. So we're going to my guy. Like I said, Scousers don't get knocked out. Paddy Pimlet gets more than one takedown than Kazula Vargas. And our final pick of the night, this one's a very fun matchup between Dan Hooker and Arnold Allen. For some reason, they opened the takedown prop for Dan Hooker at 2. So I hit the under on one of those. But what I like more is actually the Arnold Allen side +1 takedown. And the reason for that is because I'm not really expecting Dan Hooker to come out here in a singlet and just be shooting takedowns repeatedly. And yes, he is capable of landing takedowns, but across like his 20 UFC fights, he actually only has like 3 fights where he's landed more than one takedown. And a lot of fights, especially where he has a striking advantage and he's getting off on that volume, he's not even looking to take the fight to the ground. That's more so kind of a recent development where people weren't expecting him to go for the takedown against Nasrat Haqparast, against Dustin Poirier, those style of matchups. In this matchup where I perceive he has a strike advantage, he has a volume advantage for sure, I really don't think he's going to be looking to go to the wrestling. And if he does, Arnold Allen is not a bad wrestler himself. And the reason why I like the rival side rather than just taking the under on Dan Hooker is because Arnold Allen is capable of landing a takedown or two himself. He actually averages more per 15 minutes, more takedowns than Dan Hooker. He's right around a takedown and a half. And I think Hooker has good enough takedown defense where I'm not really expecting Allen to land multiple takedowns either. But it's just the fact that, like, if Allen lands one takedown, well, now Dan Hooker has to land, multiple takedowns, where I'm just not really seeing it here. Worst case scenario, I think we get a draw. If Hooker lands one takedown, we draw. If Arnold lands one takedown, Hooker would need to land 2 for us to draw and 3 for us to lose. So it's just a spot where I think there's multiple ways we can get there. So I feel pretty good about Arnold Allen +1 takedown. So before we get out of here, do me a favor, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what are your favorite picks on Underdog. And for those that haven't signed up yet, use the link in the description or promo code John Kelly will get you a deposit match up to $100. You use that link, you deposit $100, Underdog will give you $100 free to then try to spin it up with these picks. I definitely appreciate it, guys. Good luck this Saturday, and we'll see you next time.